up sticking with the bans from game number 2 so far, with the Kalista and the Yuumi ban. And RNG, remember, they've left Zeri open on blue side both times. They could have picked Zeri both of those games. So I feel like for RNG, maybe just actually pick the Zeri this time around. We'll have to see though. As EDG banning the Poppy, banning the Nautilus, sticking to what has worked for them. And the Wukong this time taken off the board. So that was the first pick for Wei. Last game, I'm surprised EDG don't just leave that open for... Oh, okay. Zeri's on Viper once again. I think it's over.
Yeah, I think they definitely might look into picking it, considering the fact that it's available. But the more I look at it, at least now RNG have Vi, which is why I kind of like backed up and added the Might in there. So this time around, they at least have something that should safely be able to find the engage onto the backline. Still not a champion you really care to be let through. Trundle, a pick we've literally been highlighting every draft, still available. Xin Zhao, something that's fallen a little bit through in terms of prio since we've come into playoffs, but at least still providing the same role. I'd be happy with either one of these champions over something like a Viego.
Yeah, something that can fight the Vi, right? Something that can go toe to toe. And, you know, I'm obviously exaggerating with the... Zeri has lost plenty of games across the course of the split. I want to see RNG, though, bringing a strategy that can put pressure on this area. We talked about RNG loving to play through that bottom side across the split. Well, Illusion Army would certainly give them a strong laning phase once again, or certainly a strong spike once they get that first item each. But the laning phase itself went the way of EDG against the Solution Army with a Lulu for Mako last game, and you can anticipate that's probably the lock-in once more.
We get it. I still don't know how I feel about it. You now at least have some mobility. You have the burst there. Of course, if LF's a mobile champion, would be rough against Trundle. But I think even maybe going that route would have been something I'd like to see. I want to see change come out from RNG and see something a bit different, because for EDG, they can still just keep building very similar comps. You know their 4-5 pick's going to depend on what RNG bans out, because I still feel like if something along the lines of an Azir is let through for Scout, you can so easily go towards that at any point in time.
So, bans, once again, we've seen a lot of mid lane bans across our phase 2 here in this series so far. And I'm curious if EDG are just going to stick to that. Whether things like the Azir are banned away by RNG once more. The Sylas was absolutely terrifying from Scout. There's Galio actually going to be banned away here by Xiao. Oh, away from Xiao, sorry.
And maybe signaling they want to go to that direction, considering this is what Xiao picked up last time. But taking away that combo, right, Vi just easily able to ult on the backline, and Galio can follow up. It's like guaranteed lockdown on top of Viper, especially anytime he doesn't have his flash up. So now for RNG, wanting to start taking away some of these top laners. We hit on it. Flandre had a great game, too, if you didn't see. Did find a solo kill on to Breathe. And this EDG lineup overall coming to life in playoffs.
Yeah, it's honestly been terrifying watching what EDG are doing to RNG in a matchup that was meant to be an absolute barn burner, that was meant to be so even, and now RNG, to win this series, would need to begin a reverse sweep, and that is no mean feat against a team as experienced as EDG. But one thing I will say, with the amount of veterancy on RNG, you don't expect the mental to break, right? You expect these players to be able to come back. They've been in this situation before. There's 2 mid lanes banned away by EDG here. You could maybe expect another blindable top laner. No, the Azir will be respected in the end. Scout won't have his ultimate comfort pick. He'll just have his second ultimate comfort pick in that of the Sylas.
Yeah, Sylas, once again, having phenomenal ultimates to be able to steal. The Nami ult still there, but now this time around, having the one, the Vi ult that you have access to, it's going to make it really rough for Gala to be able to walk anywhere close to auto range in a lot of these fights, when Scout can always just look for that opportunity to pull the trigger first. Now for RNG, in terms of what they could look to answer with, I mean, we've hit on things like the Taliyah a few times, still haven't really seen it come to fruition just yet for Xiao, but at least having that abscond abduct, right, Scout's going to have a dash, going to be hard to jump through the rocks you put on the ground, find the stun, and then for top lane, Gwen available once again. You did ban away the Renekton this time, so that should have a more solid matchup. But I'll also throw out the Sejuani, because maybe finding that more engaged could be good. But that would be another great ult for the Sylas to take away. But that one feels like a hard bullet to dodge.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of top laners just have phenomenal ultimates that Sylas loves to use.
I feel like most champions just have really great ults for Sylas. I feel like Sylas is just strong inherently because of that ability. This has been a pick that we haven't talked about all through the series. It hasn't been banned, and it will finally be locked in for Breathe. The man in the top lane is an absolute menace on the Fiora. This has been a comfort pick for him his entire career. This has been a pick that you fear when you're playing up against Breathe. And the Fiora coming out once more, it's got to be a little bit terrifying for Flandre.
Yeah, this is the pick he made his name on back when he was OMG Curse, having that highlight outplay clip. I think he like 1v4'd, but we get Flandre bringing out the Vlad. You know, when it comes to Flandre, he can always pull out any champion. Seriously, go look at like his champion history. Azir top, Malzahar top. This guy can play absolutely anything. And gonna look to match scaling with scaling, but bringing another team fight element to the side of EDG.
Yeah, and do you know what? Hilariously, this Vladimir is actually kind of a big pick for Flandre. Like, he's played a lot over his career, way more than I think people would expect.
3-0 this split.
Not actually a positive win rate. He's 18 for 20 on the Vladimir over his career, but, you know, 38 games under his belt, he's certainly experienced. Look at the big grins on both sides from our coaches here. Glad to see that they're at least enjoying themselves in this series, and EDG have every right to be enjoying themselves, because in a matchup that most people were predicting RNG for, EDG are now 2-0 up, and they have Zeri once more. They have scaling in the top side with a Vladimir. They've got Scout on his Silas. I'm liking the look of EDG here, Larry.
EDG definitely having strong teamfight tools available. This time, though, it is pretty much solely on Scout to find those opportunities to go in. JJ set up with a pillar, Scout take away the Vi ulti, and then jump on top of Xiaohu or Gala.
That said, we could see some flanks perhaps from Flandre. On the side of RNG, though, they've got plenty of tools to find advantages to take over the game. We need to see a bit of hands dip, I think, from RNG here coming into game number 3, because something has to give, something has to change for the Emperors of Spring to turn this into a win in summer. It's 0-2 in favor of EDG and RNG. They don't want to go down without a fight. Remember, if they could win the LPL this split, they'd be on track for the Golden Road. But right now, it's looking more like the Yellow Brick Road.
I feel like for RNG, it's so rough. Even coming into this game, I'm curious to see where RNG put their pressure coming from mid-jungle, because, right, you have this kind of explosive bot lane duo that you would prefer to get ahead, but also if you could set Breathe up for success in the side lane, like that's another route to victory. I will say I kind of favor playing with your bottom lane, because just looking at EDG's composition, Trundle, Silas, Vladimir once again, I feel like once we get to a point, the burst from Lucian's really going to mean nothing.
We're going to get a late invade here from EDG, but RNG are ready for it. This could be a 4v4 at level 1. I mean, do you favor either team at the level 1? I feel like Trundle is a bit of a monster. Xiaohu spots it, though. I'm not sure if EDG will commit. Slightly wide from Scout on the chains. The Xiaohu can't clear the ward. He's spotted out. Mako moving in still. EDG aren't done just yet. Clearing away the ward. Ming and Gala forced out on the bottom side. But you can see Wei has already dipped. He's up on the top side, going for the Wolves himself. It's Ming and Gala trying to be cheeky with it, trying to look for a steal. It ain't going to happen.
No, so JJ will be able to get this red buff, and even getting some nice vision down, right? They have a ward right outside of it. They have a ward next to the Raptor camp as well. So anytime Wei makes his way down to the bot side jungle, EDG will have solid information on what he's doing. EDG, just overall, feels like early game, every single game so far, they've kind of just outpaced RNG, whether it's been through invades or through things like the mid lane ganks we've seen come pretty consistently for their side.
Yeah, it's felt, I mean, a lot of this series has felt like it's about the mid lane, right? Getting influence there, but it's been JJ starting off, generally speaking, as he walks across the ward. He's going to try and get into that mid lane, but full information here for Xiaohu. There's no universe that Xiaohu should be caught by this play. So JJ just moves into his top side, trying to deny camps from Wei.
Great move as well. Gets 2 camps, now going to be up towards his top side, but RNG wanting to contest this. Breathe has prio in top side.
He does, but he might have gone a bit too deep as the ward comes down. He's been spotted, has to try and get over the wall here. Will get his lunge and gets out to safety, but big chunk, so a bit unfortunate for him as he has to move back up towards Flandre. There's now an invade from RNG. They want to be the ones setting the pace in this game. Finally, we see a bit of early game life from RNG and a nice proactive play.
just look at the waves in mid and top right. You can see both Scott and Flandre, even though they did make their way over initially, they know they have to move back, pick those up. And RNG playing patiently, waiting for the opportunity to go in and actually steal away their own camp. So overall, it's just an equal trade, right? We had Red and Raptors taken away by JJ, and now Red and Raptors being matched by Wave.
Look at Wave's CS right now as JJ moves back to his bottom side. JJ's still only level 2 at this point in the game, so he's got a bit of catching up to do. Just hit level 3 off of the Gromp now. Going to be working on his blue buff. As EDG continue to put pressure down in the bottom side. We've seen this matchup already in this series, and it was very much in favor of EDG in the bottom side of the map.
Staying that way so far, and I mean, for EDG overall, bot lane winning. Top lane, you're going to do just fine. I don't feel like either top laner really should have opportunities to find kills on the other. Breathe potentially trying to hold this wave to set up for the gank to come through. Flandre having phase rush, having the pull and flash, though, I feel like it'd be really hard to be able to find a kill on him.
Yeah, there's perhaps an angle where you want to try and burn summoners, but honestly, the amount of time it would take could be really risky. So, Wave, for the time being, at least we'll go for the Scuttle Crab. And looks like he's going to go for the reset. So Flandre not going to be in any trouble up on that top side, as you can anticipate these trades should go the way of Flandre, generally speaking. Obviously, just having the range advantage. It's down to Breathe to find ways to close that gap and look for potential all-ins. But it's a Vladimir, right? Like, it's one of those champions that's almost impossible to all-in.
For Breathe, though, as long as he could go for the short trades like that, you know, go in, try to proc a Vital. Kind of unlucky with this in terms of being able to find this one. He will be able to play around against Flandre quite well, like we're seeing. From Flandre, a lot of it just being able to tether to range. But when the wave is in such a bad spot, Breathe's going to get so many opportunities. But now it's Viper potentially finding one of his own.
Viper actually diving towards Gala there, but Shahu's up in the top lane. Flandre has to use his flash, surely. The pull comes on out. Watch for the knock-up. There it is. Flash comes out from Flandre. Nicely done. We see those Scout moving down towards the bottom side. JJ already behind the players. Viper and Gala trading aggressively. Wei is here too. JJ going to go for the 1v1. He's a level down right now and kind of alone, but Scout moving into the play. Wei forced to flash. Laser behind the turret, but RNG dodge it. And with 3 men under the tower, I don't think EDG can go for more.
So both teams trading windows, right? RNG wanting to make that play top after Breathe holding that wave for so long. And then EDG see that play happen. No, hey, now we went over Scout to get this push in mid, rotate towards bot, and overall it's a flash for flash trade at the end of the day.
Flash for flash as Flandre back to that top side, even in CS. And generally speaking, fairly even game so far. The differences being a CS lead in the jungle in favor of RNG, a CS lead in the bottom lane in favor of EDG. But that's led us, Lyric, to almost a dead even point in terms of the gold to start this one off. And neither team going for that early Drake. We've seen pretty early Drakes both games, generally for RNG. But the Herald looks like that might be the first objective of this game.
Especially now that we're hitting the level 6 point, right? Because both of these mid laners definitely coming alive when those ultis are up. Shahu now having the Weaver's Wall can start to make those plays to influence sides. And with the way that Prio is gone and Vision's being set down, it looks like RNG actually opting to lean up towards that top side and set Breathe up for success, as compared to EDG keeping JJ down towards that bot side.
So Flandre, no flash available, remember. His Wei wants first blood. RNG would love to start off with an advantage. Flandre is going to go for an all-in on the top side, or at least
3 members.
Here we go. Shahu moves in, looking for the all-in as Wei actually gets knocked up by the Weaver's Wall, I'm pretty sure. Flandre saving the pull, but I mean, he's saving it for his next life at this point.
Yeah, RNG find the first blood, but EDG will at least respond, pick up the dragon. Looks like Scout's getting a little bit of work done in the mid lane. But overall, for RNG, you take that. We said one of the win conditions, if Breathe can't just become this uncontrollable monster, no one will be able to match him in side lanes, right? Vlad, a lot more about team fighting. Silas the same, even though like you're kind of fine in a side lane against certain champions. Still much more about those team fights.
Culling and a tower shot hitting onto Viper.
Oh,
Gala flashes
Gala
forward. The slow comes out from the Glitter Lance. Mako has to flash as well. That is 4 summoners on cooldown for EDG in the bottom side. JJ just about wins the 1v1 with Drake.
Things finally going much better for RNG, especially in terms of the bot lane matchup. They've given over a plate, but the fact that they were able to get summoners just from the pure 2v2 feels huge for their side. Still, though, now with Gale Force down, Gala's pretty low. It's going to be a lot about just trying to get this wave in and finding the reset for yourself.
Yeah, Gale Force going to be down for a long while here, Lyric, until he actually purchases it.
Oh, I meant culling. I'm sorry. I meant culling, Munch. Don't expose.
Flandre, you know, I love that the Weaver's Wall actually knocks Wei out of his queue there. I thought this was going to go disastrously, EDG, but then the knock-up, obviously Flandre expecting to have a moment longer before he had to use his pool, not having the reactions there and getting taken down. I feel like Flandre, if he uses the pool, probably survives the play, honestly, after the Weaver's Wall.
I think it'd be close, because RNG still were like quite healthy. I think potentially could look for that dive opportunity and find the kill, but definitely would have been a close one. But now we come back, Herald up on the board. RNG have kept up pressure in topside, so I feel like they should be favored in being able to look for this, especially with the fact that EDG's bot lane summoners are down. But for now, we can see RNG wanting to look mid first.
Yeah, RNG trying to get control. And the fact that they have this buy this time around feels good for them, but JJ not going to miss out on an opportunity for a play. He moves up to this top side instead. Breathe, full respect. You know he's aware that something's going on.
Yeah, both sides of the map for RNG. Bot side trying to make that play around the lane, so Breathe knows, hey, I got to back off. I can't look for anything here. And looks like RNG actually might just give up this Herald, which is surprising. We said they were one of the teams who pretty much always contested, third highest first Herald in the league, instead wanting to try to punish EDG's bottom lane and get Gala and Ming in the game, which I feel like is the right call. We haven't really gotten to see them have an impact just yet. Breathe is going to scale up and have a huge impact no matter what, as that was incredibly close. But I feel like Gala and Ming need babysitting if they want to find a better time in this Game 3.
Yeah, they definitely do. And you can see that that's coming out from RNG Wei. Moving over, pressuring on the bottom side. Viper and Mako giving full respect, just backing away here. Trying to steal away the camps from Wei, who's currently stealing the camps. They're trying to thieve from the thieves at this point, as RNG get 2 plates in the bottom side. A much better start for the golden bottom lane down here. But Scout, in the meantime, might just match that in the mid lane. Oh, went a little too early there, and it means he won't get any damage on that second play.
For EDG, I mean, hypothetically, they could have looked to drop Herald in mid, but you can see not a whole ton of vision down in that bottom side, not knowing where Wei is, and Xiaohu being able to traverse terrain so quickly.
Wei hasn't been
punished, but speaking of punished...
Yeah, look at them go. They just dive on Viper, gets his ult off, but that's all he'll get off. It's a kill for Gala early on in the game, and this Vi pick has been beautiful for Wei. So much more proactive, getting things done across the map.
I'm telling you, Munch, I feel like we really have not seen Viegos able to do all that much on recent patches. It's really been about the utility you can bring to these ganks, to these team fights, to be able to set up kills for your team. Great to see RNG actually doing that this time and playing towards their bottom lane. We said the way they've been punished has been teams really exploiting the bottom half of the map from them, and just kind of how, I don't want to say volatile, but despite like the highlights and the big pentakill moments, Gala really hasn't had that same level of star power that I feel like he did in Spring or at MSI. Typically feels like an AD carry to me who steps up more in high pressure situations. And I mean, heck, this game that's going to keep their dreams alive to win another championship, this is the time you need to do it.
Yeah, if you want a high pressure situation while being 0-2 down in playoffs when you're not in the double elim just yet, that's a reasonable amount of pressure to put on an AD carry. So Gala, the one that has to step up. Breathe as well, a player that hasn't really had the greatest split for himself, considering Bin was swapped out to put Breathe into this roster. And then in game number 3, while down in the series, they swap him onto the Fiora, give him the power to carry for this RNG squad.
It also makes it so the comps not as one-dimensional as it felt like their previous 2 comps were, in terms of it's pretty much like group is 5, you have to find the angle to go in, both are relatively short range, and EDG drafted and played around them quite well. This time it's like, okay, you have team fight, you have the ability to burst, you have the Weaver's Wall coming from mid to try to create numbers advantage and find picks, you have a split push element. RNG this time around having a lot of different ways it can play, depending on how EDG goes, and now, with Breed's Prio, bring him down to mid is the way that RNG want to play.
Do. Can they get the charge off though? Herald knocked back here. Eye available. And I think RNG have answered the play. That's gorgeous stuff from RNG as you see Breathe moving down. The whole gang is here for RNG. As EDG would love to threaten that Drake, but I don't think they can because Flandre, no TP either. JJ gets the Scuttle Crab, but at what cost? Blast Cone. Oh, he actually gets out. It was after the knock-up from Wade. JJ survived somehow.
That is such like a timing. Oh, I don't know. I'd be so frustrated if I was way right there. Had that gone all the way through, felt like that was a guaranteed kill for the side of RNG. Maybe he would have been in too deep, but has his flash available. Breathe, though, covering in mid lane, not allowing too many of these turret plates to go down. I like that RNG decided to commit him for the whole play because you could see he was questioning, do I go back up and cover my lane or do I stay? Vlad not really having the pushing power to threaten too much in that top lane.
Scout moving down to the bottom side here, but he's quite deep on his own, has the crown available. Gala, the target, just dives onto the backline here, but he's abandoned by a squad. Wild Growth comes out, but he's walking under the tower alone here. Will escape with his life, and in the meantime, Wei doing the same on the opposite side of the play. Viper trying to get the lasers out. Xiaohu answering with some rocks. No kills go down, but now the game is starting to pick up pace. RNG with the 2,000 gold lead, and you can feel it.
RNG are solidly in the lead, but a lot of Summoner Spells burnt in this last play, right? We take a look. Xiaohu, Wei, and Gala now all no flash. EDG, this could be their window to try to punish. We don't have a lot of ultimates up on their side, so not going to have the same level of impact available. Like, once Scout gets that hijack up, if he has the opportunity to steal Weaver's Wall, because I'm not quite sure what the last ult he took away was, you could look to find a play bot yourself, right, and punish the lack of summoners coming out for Gala.
Yeah, try and get onto Gala. Try and stop this Lucian having the impact that he can. Because remember, we keep talking about this I guess it's a 2-item spike for Lucian and Nami. 1 item on either champion, right? This Gale Force Mandate combo is so terrifying. So Gala and Ming, this is their window. And that little fight there feels like that should have been a potential fight where you can pop off. But the pressure from EDG, obviously having that numbers advantage, making it a bit more difficult for RNG here. But like you say, they have the goal lead. Now is their time to put some pressure on EDG and show the world that they are not a team that's just going to flop out of playoffs. Show the world that they are still the same team that won MSI in spring.
RNG definitely not wanting to repeat exactly what they did last year in this moment. Get to round 3, lose out of nowhere, and then have to make a run through regionals. Would be great to see them get, again, even just making their way to top 4. Their points are so strong. Even if they don't win the split, it'd be so hard for them to not guarantee that second seed for World. But Flandre now should be fine. We see him rocket belt out and having that W available. Second Herald coming up now, and both teams dedicating full resources towards his top side.
Yeah, Flandre gets caught out here by Wei. Ultimate available, but Flandre just going to fully respect here. Uses the flash, uses the pull, keeps himself alive. EDG moving up to this top side themselves, though, but with their top laner so low on HP and not having the flash available, I don't know if they win the 5v5. Breathe in the meantime, though, is just going to say, look, you know what? You can go for the Herald. I'm going to take a tower myself.
And Breathe has TP, so Breathe can join in at any time if RNG decide they want to opt into this fight. They do still have those ults available. We talked about summoner spells. I feel like that's the more important thing here. No flash on Xiaohu, no flash on Gala. Can be easily punished, especially while Scout has that cease and desist.
Laser out from Viper as he moves to the mid lane to try and stop the siege here. That's one thing about this RNG composition is they don't have the greatest siege in the entire game here, and the Lucian will take a little while until he can really start to chunk those towers out. But the passive can be useful, certainly, in burst scenarios. EDG, though, dropping this Herald immediately. Gonna look for a tier 1 in the top side. This will be their first tower of the game, but obviously RNG already taking 1 in the bottom side with Breathe before the Herald, and now taking 1 in the mid lane as well. So 2 tier 1s as Xiaohu now Weaver's Wall into the mid lane to stop the Herald getting onto the tower. And you can see the Herald confused, walking the wrong direction.
It actually looks like it will still be able to get the charge off in the end. It does guarantee that they don't get 2 turrets because, you know, potentially had the Herald charged immediately, then with Scout hitting turret, it could be close, right? I still don't think, but possibly could have been done. Having that one up, RNG maintain the lead that they have and still in a really solid spot, especially with the amount of pressure that Breathe has been able to keep up. For EDG, I mean, they're still strong, they're still scaling into it, right? But they're going to be looking a lot more at those 5v5s because that's what Flandre brings to the table. Being able to get that ultimate onto numerous members feels like it will be the silver lining for them. But Flandre might not get a chance to play because he's been focused down quite heavily by RNG.
Yeah. This is what we call Giga weak side, as Flandre just getting ganked and ganked and ganked again. A lot of sustain coming out, though, as he's just healing up off of Wei. Gets the phase rush, trying to escape, but Wei will not let him go. It's a kill for Xiaohu here on the bottom side of the map, as RNG open this game up and look towards a second Drake.
And I think this one should just be theirs. I mean, it'd be so hard for EDG to contest. I gotta say for Flandre, though, he still doesn't have it half as bad as the Shy did yesterday, especially in that game 1. Like 20 ganks in 10 minutes. But EDG, do they actually really want to contest?
It's going to be a tough one. Laser over the wall. I think they're just looking for a cheeky steal, right? They're just looking for anything they can get. They won't find anything for the time being. But Gala doesn't want to let them get away with being cheeky here. Big damage onto JJ. Tidal Wave will not connect. And that's enough to stop RNG pushing. In the meantime, look at the top lane here. Scout answers with a tier 2.
Overall, EDG get away, with something, but I feel like this is so risky for them to posture in front of Dragon and open up these windows to where, right, had that tidal wave from being hit. I mean, that could have been a kill going over. Just so risky coming out from the side of EDG. At the end of the day, though, the risk paid off.
It certainly did, and it meant Scout could get the tier 2, get all of that local gold as well, right? Remember the tier 2s earlier this year, getting buffed how much gold you get when you finish them off. So Scout will have a good chunk there. Flandre still going to be doing a good job of just trying to farm up a Storm on the side lane because, let's be honest, farm is going to be the way he gets into this game at this stage with how much he's been focused by the enemy team. But that Vladimir, no matter what your scoreline is, when he gets to 3-4 items, he's going to be a team fight monster.
Luckily for him as well, RNG, once again, the Lucian, the Nami, Vi, like very short-range champions. Fiora going to want to be going in, so he'll have the opportunity to find a high-impact ult, but JJ trying to do enough to support him so he doesn't keep getting focused down, but RNG wanting control of this half of the map.
Oh my god, that's one item. That's one item from Viper. It's already doing a quarter of Gala and Ming's HP with the laser right there. And Viper just doesn't seem to miss these lasers either. But let's kind of talk big picture in this one, Lyric. Because for RNG, they finally had that advantage. It's 2,000 gold lead, 2 Drakes. And they're trying to move in for some deep vision. There is no Drake available. This is all for blue buff as Gala goes a bit too far forward. Forced away. Blue buff taken, though. I'm pretty sure Wei was the one to grab it.
Yeah, and EDG felt comfortable looking for this contest because Scout had TP. Scout actually TP'd down to the bot side. RNG not overcommitting doesn't give that avenue available to finally engage. It actually opens up for Bree to be able to take topside turret.
Oh, and beautiful play from RNG. Instead of going for Scout, they stop his reinforcements. And now Scout in a 1v4, exhausted and taken down with a kill, gifted over to Gala. That is immaculate play from RNG.
RNG finding their way back in this series. Beautiful picks coming through. They got to enjoy it because, remember, loser gets to pick side. RNG have had 3 games of blue side so far, and this potentially looks like the first one that they will be able to pick up. I mean, I guess they can't pick up the other 2. Those are already done, but
yeah, they're going to struggle to pick up game 2 at this stage.
You don't know if time travel exists. You don't know what, secret labs in other places are inventing, and or if they are big fans of RNG.
The Zillion lock-in for game number 4 changes the face of the series. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what time has ahead of us. But as you rightly say, RNG in a fantastic spot. 4,000 gold lead, 2 Drakes, and an Infernal Soul, no less. So let's talk game plan here. How do RNG keep this ball rolling and build that lead more for themselves?
For RNG, I feel like it's playing around that ability to have that 4-yard pressure in a side lane. Kind of surprised they're committing Xiaohu, the one down to bot, which to me with Signal, I don't expect RNG to be looking to play up for this Baron. It's probably going to be more about, maybe finding a pick now. If you can, that's into a Baron. Is Munch, I got to stop. A pick actually might happen.
The double grand challenge on the top side here, but look at this, RNG with a 2v1, make it 3v1 as Gala tries to get involved as well. A TP on top of it, Scout down, and Baron about to be started by RNG.
RNG aware that EDG going to look to come contest, so don't just outright go with this one, trying to play for the pick, but EDG not falling forward just yet.
Okay, ward in the pit. RNG decide not to commit for the time being, despite the death time and despite the lack of TP there from Scout. They don't want to give up position on the Drake. Remember, RNG got the first 2 Drakes, or at least got 2 Drakes so far this game. Third one would be soul point for them. I don't think RNG are really willing to risk that as a potential pick here. JJ caught by the bubble. The culling is there, but the damage just isn't there from RNG.
No, RNG not able to find it, but still able to get a good chunk off. Not a whole lot of time. Like, JJ can go to his jungle, you know, clear out some camps and try and get that health back. But RNG can have a definite health advantage, but no culling now for Gala. Flashes up pretty much across the board, so this one's going to come down to execution.
Look at Breathe on the top side. While he still has TP, this is going to be a tier 2 taken by him. Massive gold advantage for RNG. And now he can TP into the play as well. EDG starting this Drake off, but it resets. Still 9,000 HP. The laser not going to connect. But now Scout in the back of the fight. Here we go, EDG with a desperation play to turn things around. Scout surviving with the wild growth, but Flandre can't really get in either. Damage out from EDG. They've done a good amount of chunking here. Xiaohu forced back. Drake down to 3,000. EDG looking to burst it. As Gala desperate to move in. Drake taken 2 apiece now as the laser comes out. Flandre surviving on the front line. And EDG, they've done enough to muscle an objective their way.
So much damage done on both sides. RNG not really having the ability to send Gala forward to get any more damage down, just relying on the Qs from Xiaohu. And same story for EDG. I mean, you're just then relying. You have kind of this poke battle coming down during the objective, a Viper throwing out Ws and Xiaohu throwing out Qs. Neither team really willing or able to go forward with those ults down. So now EDG and RNG going to be sitting on 2 dragons apiece.
And I'm loving the little combo that we see from JJ and Viper during this play, where you keep seeing JJ drop the pillar as Viper goes for the W on the same spot to set up for that poke. Really nice coordination. And that's the big thing that we have praised for EDG this series, is that coordination. But is coordination enough to come back from a 6,000 gold deficit?
I do gotta say, for the side of RNG, they at least have things like stopwatches available, which can make getting into the thick of fights a little bit better. Only as Zanya's on board for Scout, but that one wasn't up last fight, which is why he had to then blow his flash to be able to get out of there. So more tools kind of coming online for both teams to be willing to take these scrappier fights. Apparently, we lost Munchables. I wondered if he just became a robot on my end, but I guess he was a robot for everyone. And I love it. High pressure situation. RNG fighting for their life. And we get to solo cast as JJ. Luckily not going to walk into the seismic shove. Mako forced to flash. So RNG still keeping up with this 1-4 style. You can see they feel so confident in keeping Breathe down on this bottom lane, just pushing this wave in. And now Scout has to react. So RNG, I feel like the play is just keep trying to prod and poke your head a little bit more for vision on top side. But sadly, going against Azeri makes that kind of annoying because she W's you and then half your HP is gone. As it looks like Wei may be caught out, does manage to escape with the Q, but looking a little bit dicey. RNG wanting to push that vision line further, like we said, is what they're trying to aim for. They are able to do so, and we can see even Breathe winning out in the side lane. And as now it looks like maybe Vax coming through. No action gonna happen. Let's get take a sip of water. Revisiting stakes. RNG. O2 down, need to come back. We've said many times, and by we, I mean me, because Munchables hasn't said it once. If they can get top 4, with the amount of points they got in spring, things are looking pretty good. And there's just so many different possibilities for them to be able to get that second seed based on points alone. For EDG, this win would be massive. Then making their way to go up against top esports. Try and look to repeat back-to-back summer champions. And heck, who knows? Maybe back-to-back world champions. I don't want to predict anything. I didn't predict EDG last year. Probably wouldn't predict them this year either. But who knows? Pending on their performance today, pending on how they run this bracket, EDG, a team that definitely in playoffs has leveled up and has been a team that we can believe in. And now looks like wanting to get Prio, wanting to try and get vision towards his top side, gonna just go down through mid. And heck, Wei and Ming have to be careful. They are going to be able to take the turret. Xiaohu joining in. And EDG should be happy with this. Just back off. You need to go get your side lanes in order because Breathe is looking to push down this bottom side turret. He's going to do it. And man, Breathe has just been such a menace so far in these sides. EDG, you're gonna have to pull the trigger and make something happen, and they do. Xiaohu forced to flash, Flandre goes in, ults right away, but RNG so far managed to disengage. Xiaohu now forced to go golden. He will go down. Viper putting on so much damage, and Scout, you go so deep, my dude. Does have the Zanyas, and once again manages to escape. EDG gonna be able to head over to the Baron. There's some damage on the side of RNG. Health bars are low, but it is a 5v3 in favor of EDG. Scout gonna look for the back because he is TP available. And oh my god, Gala just deletes Flandre. And now members of RNG running EDG down. It was a 5v3. They're able to turn it. The health bars are there once Breed joins in. And somehow they make the insane play. But do they go for Baron? It would be dicey with Gala now down. Wayne Xiaohu are up in 7 seconds, and I love it. RNG want to go for it. We look at that timers on the side of EDG. They're still super long, and they're going to look to go for it. As we see Engage comes out, I love it. EDG, they look at Breathe the bot side. They know they need to pull the trigger. Get on top of Xiaohu. Flash comes out. Beautiful pillar to make sure he can't get anywhere. And then the fact that Scout survives, has the Zanyas available to be able to get in, force Gala so low and get out was a huge play for them. But see in the bottom left hand of our screen, Baron is going down, and looks like that should just be it for RNG. You know, Mudge, we're gonna go under the assumption that the audience can hear you because I've had to talk nonstop. So now apparently you're back. So go, Mudge, go.
I'm back. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm not sure what happened. RNG, though,
you missed
the
best things ever. No,
for EDG. What have I missed?
You missed the Baron. You missed RNG 3v5 a team fight and get a Baron, Munch.
My God, only RNG can pull that kind of play off. I deeply apologize, everybody. This is the joy of having to do online casting. 10-3, 30 minutes on the clock. And a near 10,000 gold lead for RNG. They've got the Baron, but now with Soul Point for EDG in 5 minutes time, there's a small win condition there. EDG, they've got to survive 5 minutes to get that off.
It's going to be rough too. Now Breathe having the Guardian Angel. He was doing so much work in the last team fight. It's going to be even harder to be able to hold him down. So RNG playing out through this 2-lane setup, knowing Breathe has that pressure on top side. EDG having to potentially dedicate 2 members there. I mean, it's just going to get to a point, right, where EDG are going to have to all in on one of the sides of the map, or they're just going to end up giving up their whole base.
All in on the mid lane, perhaps, as that tower goes down. RNG trying to pressure as many lanes as possible, 2 for the time being, but they could even move down to that bottom side because there's a big old slow push moving in towards EDG. Gala steps forward to hit onto this inhibitor. Looks for Mako instead. Flash out from the Lulu as Flandre taking a huge amount of damage. Gala moves in on the top side. RNG, they want a game in this series as they try and force the play, but it's Way backing off on this one. JJ trying to chase. Actually goes to the blue smite here, going deep with the Wild Growth as EDG grouping up as 4, but Breathe just goes 1v4 and turns it on its head. Double on the Fiora. Breathe is an absolute monster in the top lane, and EDG destroyed by the Duelist.
Quadra kill picked up for Breathe, and RNG managed to do it much. They managed to bring a game.
RNG, they keep their series alive. They won MSI, and they don't intend on going.
Great showing from RNG. Great play around the Baron that sadly Munch missed. And overall, just huge performance coming out from them to be able to get it. And we said, like, they were on 0-2. The nerves could be there. The mental could be taking a dip, but they were able to bring it back and keep strong. Take a bit of a different draft, right? Have more angles and more options available to them with the fact that they have this ability to play out through sides, with the fact that they can look for picks with the global ulti and the single target CCs that they have, but still be quite fine in team fights. It felt like a much better approach, able to come out from RNG this time.